So essentially, if you research your social security number, you'll find out that it's made up of 3 digits, then there's a hyphen, then there's 2 digits, another hyphen, and 4 digits. All of those segments of numbers actually refer to ways of categorizing, human beings, essentially. Mm-hmm. Okay? It was literally a way of identifying people, and if you research it, you'll find out that each of those sections of the dashes is actually pertaining to something else. And I'm not going to go into those details, but yeah, you can look it up. When you use the dashes, that's how you typically identify your social security number when you're writing it out. But when you identify yourself in electronic format, you do it without the dashes. Okay, so this is just a way of covering both angles of your identification, with and without. That's all it is. So whenever you type in your social security number on the computer and hit submit, you usually don't add the dashes. It's just without the dashes. Mm-hmm. So you're giving back, because you're essentially communicating with the computer here. You're essentially sending it back in both formats. Okay, so whatever way they want to take it, you've covered both. Mm-hmm. And then I would add a drop of blood right there. That's my blood. Okay, and I just wrote drop of blood. Blood is your currency. Essentially, I'm putting a drop of blood on each of these payment coupons in addition to these words. Okay, so just pretend like this is the payment coupon itself, and then you do all this on it. There's not a lot of room to write it, but just find a way to get it all in there. Mm-hmm. And then this is very important. You need to take a picture of it or scan it, whichever way is easiest for you, to document that you actually conducted this. This is a transaction that I just performed, and I need to document that it actually took place. So you take a picture of it and you store it. You keep that picture on record in your computer, whatever way you organize your files. Yeah. Usually it's a JPEG file or whatever, but you keep it, give it a unique name so you can find it later, and just hang on to it, because you're going to need it later. Yeah. You're going to need it later because they like to ignore this. Okay. Oh. So you have to document this stuff, because after you do all this and then you send it back to them, you may never see it again. Likely you're not going to ever see this again. I haven't seen one since. So, and I've done this many, many, many times. So take a picture of it and find a good way to store it and have it available for down the road, because you're going to need it later. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, keep your receipts. It's always good to have receipts. Like, Lindsay, you have receipts right now. You're showing everybody proof. They always say keep your receipts, right? When you pay a bill. It's just like when you pay a bill, they say hang on to your receipt.
Yeah. You need proof. You need proof. You need proof. Absolutely need it. And a lot of credit card companies are going to want you to pay electronically. Okay. You need to tell them you want to be sent a bill in the mail. You want the paper version of that bill. And there's several reasons why that's important. First of all, I haven't figured out a way how to accept an electronic bill for value. I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, right, because it's electronic. Right.
You can't stamp your computer screen.
No, you're exactly right.
How do you know that if you write a note on there, how do you know that they're seeing it, or that it's even part of the record? How do you know what the viewer on the other side of the computer?
Right.
What are they seeing? What are they getting? Where do you put the accepted for value? How do you say that? So, and then you can't put blood there.
No.
There's no way to put blood. And when I talk about blood, I'm not talking about like smearing the whole thing with blood and giving them just like a giant, bloody document. I'm talking about like a tiny drop.
A smidge,
like
right.
a speck.
You can go to like Meyer and get like
your essence,
something,
it's your
or
spiritual currency.
somewhere like Walgreens and get like a Lancet or Lancer and just poke yourself. It's simple. It's like you're supposed to be putting a drop of blood up daily for an atonement for your filthy soul. It's Leviticus 17:11, and we should all be making an atonement for our filthy soul. I mean, nobody's going to tell you this. The church won't tell you this. The religious leaders won't tell you this. They're all swearing on a Bible, every one of them. And you look it up. It's Corinthians 2 verse 4:4. This is Satan's world.
And
so who do you think they're swearing to?
Okay,
who are they swearing to?
Blood on each one that I did. And every time I did this, I spoke my intention onto it, right as I did it. So they are receiving my intent, whether they can see it or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a signature on the paper itself. Energy. It's going straight back. I'm mailing. I take the payment coupon. Just pretend this is a payment coupon. And I mail this right back to the credit card company or the corporation, whoever it's going back to. And that is how I dealt with that bill. I am not paying them money. I'm accepting the bill for value. And you can see right here, it says pay to the order of in your name. You're basically telling them, you're reversing the charge. It goes back to you. Okay? They're not going to like this. They're just not going to like that.
No.
They can't even decode this half the time because a lot of the people that are working in customer service at a credit card company or at any place that's dealing with the revenue, they are only hired and trained to collect money. They don't understand what even this is or what this means. It literally, it's just, they can't decode it. You've basically thrown a monkey wrench right into their hands. Okay, you want to do that. It's powerful, right? They won't really understand what's going on, but there's something about it that they don't like because you have put your intent. And what you're doing to the system is you're expressing to the universe and to anyone that sees this that you are no longer dead. You're a living being. You have blood running through your veins. You have blood to spill. And you're here to bring forth heaven on earth.
You're not just here to get old and die.
Money. That is like essentially what all of this is doing. Okay?
Freeing everybody from bondage.
Right, and you do this for yourself. You do this in your household, and this is your economy. You're taking back money and time. You're not being a troublemaker. You're not being a difficult person. You're basically standing up for yourself. You're no longer being silent about time and money.
Silent is your consent.
Truth, because the truth is those are lies. So that is an illusion.
Yep. Just like you were saying earlier, silence is your own consent.
Okay, so let me explain. So I after I got rid of I told you I started with about $1,000 of cash. And as that was going down, and I was accepting bills for value, and I wasn't necessarily seeing any change, right? I was expecting the credit card companies to refresh my account and take it back to zero. And that
Mhm.
wasn't happening. So that's why you always take a picture, you keep proof of your transactions,
Sure.
and you have a good way of documenting it so that you can pull things out as you need it down the road, because you're going to have to stand up for yourself again
Mhm.
later on down the road. Now, I did this cycle of I'd get a bill from, because I went and got credit cards
Mhm.
when I noticed that the cash was getting low.
It's like go because it's pretty easy to go sign up, I think, for a credit card, and you could get all these credit cards like you said, and yeah, okay, understand.
Right. Yeah, I just applied for them using my name, okay, that they are going to associate with a corporation, but you know who you are, right? You're not a dead corpse. You know who you are, but you have to use your name, and you have to use your social security number to get credit cards. So I'm essentially a live being. Hello, I have blood to spill.
And
I'm
all of
alive,
that is legal.
right? I'm alive.
All of it is legal. You can
but
go on it. You
they
can
don't
go on a website.
understand that.
Yeah, right.
Because
It's all legal. You can go right on a website and sign up for a credit card right now. What can anybody do to
they
stop you?
don't understand that.
Right. It's not like it's something illegal that you're doing or I'm doing. This is legal. They're telling us, like you said, they're almost telling us to do this, you know? If you have eyes to
Right.
see.
Exactly. So I was noticing that, yeah, exactly.
Ears to hear.
I was noticing that I wasn't getting the balance reset back to zero for these credit cards that I had received, and I was constantly getting bills. So I was going through this cycle where I would get a bill and I would accept it for value. It's important to do it right away. Don't wait for anything. That day, take care of it, put it back in the mail, right back at them, right? Just boom, they
Mhm.
get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, why should you delay? Why should you wait? Send it right back with the accepted for value format, and keep proof of it. And that way, you're essentially giving no time in between. You're going back through the process all over again. You're sending it right back into the mail. You're doing it by the book, okay? Because accepted for value is a lawful transaction, but the reality is they're going to try to make you think you did something wrong. They're going to try to make you think that you're a bad person, or that
But it's all a program.
somehow going to have bad things happen to you. But, I'm proof.
Yeah, you are proof.
It's all program. I'm proof that there's nothing bad happening.
No,
in fact,
I've been talking to you for a while now.
It has worked in several cases
right.
already.
Exactly.
Right. So they didn't reset the balance right away. So, and I kept getting bills, and I'd accept it for value, send it back through the mail. They'd send me another bill, and it was higher now.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've added late fees, and I'd do the same thing, and it was like just constant, like over and over and over again. And I was documenting each one. And by the time, maybe a little bit down the road, I realized that they need to be notified that I am keeping track of this and I am not letting them off the hook. So that's when I decided to write them a letter. And I drafted out a letter. I put it on like letterhead, typed it out, very professional. Okay, I'm not calling them bad names or using obscenities or telling them they're liars or any such thing. I'm communicating to them on a professional manner, and I'm letting them know that they owe me money. And I have written out essentially a letter. It's very brief.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get into any discussion about whether it's lawful or unlawful, because it is, and I'm operating under that established truth. So I would essentially just say, so, to whom it may concern,
Mm-hmm.
you have received the following accepted for value transactions.